Hello there. Welcome to the Political Roundup right here on VOP TV. My name is Jerry Oppenheimer. On the Political Roundup, we'll discuss and analyze trending issues in the political arena, as well as other sectors that impact daily existence. We also spotlight major political conversations that have taken place during the day, and we have seasoned and knowledgeable analysts who will be dissecting the topics for your understanding. Today, we'll take an overview of issues across the polity which we will be discussing today. To dissect political happenings with us this evening, we have an analyst in the house talking about Mr. Peter Anosike, who will be touching on a lot of topics and, of course, issues we'll be discussing on the show this evening. Good evening. Great to have you in the studio.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. Joining us virtually is Mr. Dele Fanimo, a political and a social analyst. And he'll be joining us much later on the show this lovely evening. All right, and to start off the show this evening, the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria has withdrawn its support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government. It also expressed regret for voting for the Muslim ticket. The council announced this in Abuja during a two-day congress to discuss the aftermath of the 2023 presidential election. The council secretary general Nafiu Baba Ahmed told reporters that the conference was called to allow intellectuals and representatives from other sects to express their concerns about the 2023 presidential election. Ahmed said, and I quote, "We are bitterly disappointed because we gave our all to bring this government on board, but they are paying us back this way. Is this the kind of reward we bargained for?" Closing quote. He went on to say, that we have truly regretted that we voted in this government. We have looked the president in his face and told him that he has disappointed us, Muslims. Meanwhile, Tinubu meets with the Supreme Council for Sharia in Aso Rock, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday met with members of the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria at the council chamber at the presidential villa Abuja, following their statement on the Muslim ticket. All right, and of course, we'll go straight to our analyst in the house, talking about Mr. Peter Anosike, a development economist, and of course, a best-selling author and national analyst. To react to this, the Council of talking about activists and those who are concerned as far as the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria has saying that they regret voting the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What do you have to say about this?
Well, for me, it shows that they acted on selfish interests and not on national interests. They know that Nigeria is a secular country. Even in the military, for 8 years that Babangida was the head of state, he was using somebody from the south as his deputy. For the 5 years that Abacha was in office, he was using somebody from the south as his deputy. Now, in a civilian regime, why should they vote for a Muslim ticket, knowing that we have about 50% Christians and 50% Muslims? So they acted on self-interest, not on national interest, and they are now complaining because what they expected is not what they are getting at the moment. They had expected that the Muslim ticket will give them special favors, but now they are not seeing it. So that's what informed the hurried emergency meeting that they held.
But don't you think it's pretty too early? This government is still young, and of course, this government was brought in last year. This is just January in the year 2024.
Well, for me, Tinubu's regime, over 38% of its regime is over. Understand? We just have about 3 years, 2 months for the next election. So you cannot say that it is too early. For now, the foundation of what will be seen in the future is supposed to have been laid at the moment. You have 6 months to lay any foundation that you want to lay. But for now, Tinubu has not done that. His administration is still trying to stabilize.
Is it the fault of Tinubu's government? Because we all know what happened under Buhari's administration for the past 8 years. And we all know what he inherited. So should he be blamed for what is going on right now?
Tinubu was an active watcher of Buhari's administration. So he knew that Buhari messed up the country. He knew that Buhari doesn't understand where he was going. He never complained. So he has an idea of the kind of government that he is going to inherit. Now, it is a fact that he inherited a government with a decayed economy, but shouldn't be a surprise to him because he put Buhari there.
All right, joining us virtually is Mr. Dele Fanimo, who is a political and a social analyst. Good evening. You're welcome to Political Roundup on VOP TV.
Good evening.
Good
Thank
evening,
you very
Mr.
much
Dele
for having
Fanimo.
me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
All right,
Loud
just
and
before
clear.
you joined us, we were talking about the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, who has withdrawn their support for the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. And he hurriedly had a meeting with them earlier today at the presidential villa to see how they can settle issues. What's your take on how, talking about, first of all, the Supreme Sharia Council withdrawing their support for the government, and the fact that the presidency had to hurriedly arrange a meeting, meaning that they are taking them seriously?
Well, Sharia Council is a pressure group that has been there for a while, and coming from a monolithic north should be a source of worry to any government, particularly when the presidency is not the head of state, or the president is not from this part of the country. But given the fact that he's a Muslim, it's quite unfortunate that most times the northern Muslim does not see a southern Muslim as pure Muslim. To the extent that if you watched closely during Ramadan, when they go to Eid, you hardly see an imam from the south leading the prayers, and you see northerners queue behind him. So it's a potent group that should set the government thinking and making sure that they have a meeting with this group so that things don't go awry. They have influence, unlike the pastors that we have here, that a pastor from a denomination cannot influence the thoughts and actions of another denomination. Whereas this group is so potent that they can influence the thoughts and shapes of things to come in the north. So that is why I am not surprised that the presidency, the president had to hurriedly call them and have a meeting with them. And for you to really know, the northern oligarchy felt that a Muslim ticket will be in their favor. That was why they were comfortable with the arrangement, and that was why they supported the Muslim ticket. But they have now found out that, like in the past, where you have the president taking the show off the vice president, it is almost happening now. The vice president just has just been an errand boy, so to say, for now. Tinubu is in firm control of government, and so they are now seeing that the dividend expected from voting Muslim ticket is not coming to them. So when you remove feeding bottle from a baby, you don't expect that baby not to cry, particularly when he has not even fed fat on the content of the feeding bottle. So that's why they have to do what they are doing. And that's why government is panicking and arranging meetings with them to pacify them and to ask them what exactly is the issue, so that they can come to a round table and then look at concessions they can give.
All right, Mr. Dele Fanimo, thank you very much there. But to buttress the points of the Sharia Council, what kind of dividends were they expecting? Was it that there was any promise made between the council and the president and the president prior to winning the election that they felt have not been met? Because it looks like there's a special agreement he must have had with the Sharia Council.
Well, for you to become a president or a governor, you must sign some bonds. You must sign some bonds. Power doesn't just come free. And as Mr. Fanemo said, it was the North, unquote, that made the Tinubu president. Tinubu just got 25% in the Southwest, understand? But in the North, he scored 62%. So the bulk of his vote came from the North. And because of that, they expected some concessions, some special treatment, understand? As Buhari said in 2015, that the people that gave him 5% shouldn't benefit the same with the people that gave him 97%. So that is his own mathematics. So this is what this Sharia Council also expected. That since it is now Muslim, that they are going to benefit. And for now, they are not seeing it. And because Tinubu eyes is now on 2027, that's why he has to summon, cancel everything he has to do to hold meeting with these people and address their concern. And now, let us see going forward what is going to happen, whether they'll be given a preferential treatment than the other Nigerians.
All right, and of course, let's leave that and let's move on to other topics. We had the House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee on Thursday ordered the Federal Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to refund the total sum of 85 billion naira allocated to them as COVID-19 intervention funds. The resolution followed a motion introduced by Basi Akiba, a Labour Party member from Cross River State, in response to the absence of ministry officials from Thursday's investigation hearing. In a recent advertorial, PAC called 59 ministries, departments, and agencies to appear before it for the start of an investigative inquiry into the alleged abuse of money intended to combat the worldwide health pandemic known as the coronavirus. The meeting between the lawmakers and the ministries was originally scheduled for Wednesday, January 17th, but the House moved it to Thursday to express condolences to the government and people of Oyo State following Tuesday's explosion in the state capital in Ibadan. All right, we all know what happened during the coronavirus, the pandemic, and of course, other countries enjoyed benefits when it comes to COVID-19 intervention funds. We all know what happened at a point in time, the palliatives issue, but it is beginning to come out that 89 billion was actually given to these ministries to disburse and act as a form of intervention. But now it looks like that money was not spent. They are now asking, come and explain or return this money to the federal allocation post. Why does it look like nobody wants to be accountable?
Well, for me, that money is not meant to be accounted for. It is not meant to be accounted for. It's just like pocket money for the ministries. There's no way. It's just like like the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, there's no data in the country. Invite them, they will explain to you how that money was used. But deep down, you know that it didn't go down that way because we don't have any data in this country. Our population is fake. Our data is fake. Our statistics is fake. So they can do anything, they can say anything and get away with it. It's just a matter of producing, getting people that to sit down and churn out maybe 1 million names. Understand? So they will come there and the National Assembly will be satisfied with officially with what happened. So for me, this is a way, one of the oversight functions, understand? They use it to kind of intimidate some MDAs, but for their own selfish interests and not for the national interest.
All right, taking a look at it, since it's coming from, talking about a representative from the Labour Party from Cross River State, Basia Kiba, it looks like, I hope they will not look at it as more like a political warfare. But taking a look at it, some of the representatives that came to the House actually said that this money is in the account, is with the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, meaning that they are trying to tell us that this money has not been spent. So what is the difficulty of refunding this money? Dele Fanimo, I would like you to react to this matter.
You see, when it comes to corruption, except you fall out of favor with government in power, there's no way you cannot, that you won't be able to extricate yourself from culpability. Just like my dear friend said, where is the statistics to nail these people? Everybody that took money in Canada, in Spain, in UK, in America, if you are the press of a button, you will get the statistics in these countries. Money spent on COVID-19. But here in Nigeria, you cannot get any figure. You cannot nail anybody. For me, what they are doing is just a distraction. And probably the Labour Party member wanted to just show that he is part of that legislative chamber. Because I know of a particular state during that COVID-19, because I was still reporting as a media person. I was the executive director of a radio station. So I was moving around and I was monitoring the progress of some of these states, particularly in the Southwest. For instance, shortly after the lockdown, a state governor claimed that he spent within 2 days of the lockdown 200 million naira to put an existing structure in place in order for people to be isolated. This particular structure is talking about was Arch Camp, where they keep intending pilgrims before they have moved to Lagos for their trip. How did you spend 200 million naira in 2 days to rehabilitate an existing structure? Did you build, and how many buildings did you buy that amounted to 200 million naira? Later on, this particular state claimed to have used about 35 or 38 million naira as money meant for procurement of drugs to a federal institution. And the CMD of this federal hospital claimed that the governor should come and show him receipt of where they paid the money or the account that this money was paid. And that was the end of story for this particular thing. So you can now imagine if at state level, it was a big opportunity for people to steal.
To steal money.
To steal money at a time when the whole world was trembling and it was like an Armageddon. Can you cannot imagine the behemoth called federal government,
Too sad.
how much they could steal.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Dele. Let's move on to other topic of discourse this evening. And with this time around, we'll move to Plateau State, talking about Jos, where Caleb Moftwang, the governor of Plateau State, has demanded justice for the People's Democratic Party lawmakers in the state who were sacked by the Court of Appeal. The governor spoke on Wednesday while addressing journalists at the headquarters of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in Abuja. The Court of Appeal had nullified the election of PDP members in the State Assembly, House of Representatives, and Senate. The lawmakers were removed by the court over invalid nomination by the PDP. Moftwang just, survived the courts just last week, and now he feels it's now the time for him to fight for his wingmen, talking about the lawmakers in the state. Do you think that he's going to have his way this time around?
Well, for me, he is still pulling punches. Understand? He's not pushing punches because he knew what happened. What the two state people should be talking now is for the president of appeal court to be sacked, because she was behind the rigging in the court. Because why? The former APC governor made her son judge. Understand me? Made her in-law judge. And the woman, the president of the appeal court and the former state governor came from the same senatorial zone. Understand me? So it was a kind of a payback time. He has helped me. Let me also help him back. Because even the man is now, who is a senator now, was beaten hands down by the PDP senatorial candidate. The former governor was beaten hands down, and everybody knows that the issue of nomination, the issue of candidacy, is what they call a pre-election matter, which the tribunal and the appeal court are not concerned about. The tribunal is set up to talk about the election, not the nomination.
Not the nomination before
but
the election.
these people were all disqualified because of pre-election issues, which the appeal court has already determined. Understand me? So the truth is that the governor, the PDP governor, should be moving a motion, should be leading a campaign for the appeal court president to be removed from office and sanctioned. Then for those justices that went to that judge that the case, Justice Alban Okon, who all of us know his reputation, and others to also be disciplined. So say, because one, a court is not a Father Christmas. A court does not give what we did not ask.
All right.
Mind you, those issues that the Supreme Court mentioned about the illegality of the sacking of those was not among the issues that the governor went to court for.
Yes.
So it is the Supreme Court that caused this problem for the
Court of Appeal.
Sure, for the
Beginning
Court
to
of
expose
Appeal.
the kind of the lacunas in all
Understand
the
me?
judgment and so
Yeah,
on.
so for me, there should be a kind of hashtag sack the president of the appeal court. And I'll be number one to endorse it.
All right. Fatima, I would keep you not to react to that, because we still have another topic of discourse on the show this evening as we move to the Federal Capital Territory High Court, which has given a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, permission to move outside the capital city, Abuja. The court gave this permission after listening to the application for variation of the terms of Emefiele's bail filed through his lawyer, Matthew Booker. But the court also insisted that the new permission did not allow the embattled former CBN governor to travel out of Nigeria. The court ordered that Emefiele should be immediately released to his lawyers. He, however, charged Emefiele's lawyers with the responsibility of producing him in court for his arraignment next week or any other day, and ordered Emefiele to deposit his passport and other travel documents before the registrar of the court pending his arraignment. Okay, Mr. Dele Fanimo, please, I would like you to react to this new development as far as Emefiele moving in and out of Abuja is concerned.
Well, everybody, no matter the gravity of allegation leveled against him or her, has every right to his liberty to the extent that he has not been convicted. That's one. Two, there are things you have to plead for you to be released temporarily on bail. And one of the things is, when it comes to health issues, you can't be denied access to proper medical care. And this is what the embattled former central bank governor is hinging his temporary release on, so that he can take good care of his health. And it is a limited freedom, because he was asked to submit his passport and other relevant document that could aid his travel out of the country. So the onus is on those who are standing surety for him to make sure that he's produced at the next day of adjournment. 2, 3, Emefiele is not a small fry. Even if he disguises, there are security men who could monitor his movement while out of the prison until this case is finally determined. But for me, the case against Emefiele is, I'm not a lawyer, but at the risk of running counter to whatever law he has infringed upon, Emefiele's case is like, yes, this man was so brash, and he was showing too much bravado while he had sway, and with the backing of the government then, that now that he's exposed, he's been removed from office, he should suffer a little bit. Because how can you arraign somebody, prefer charges of terrorism and some other allegations against him, and in less than 1 month you are withdrawing these charges, and you are placing another, that's slamming another different fresh charges against him? Up till now, the case has not even proceeded. We have not started the hearing. So that means, it's just, for me, I see him as a political prisoner that should be released. And at the end of the day, we have seen people with more grievous charges being exonerated at the end of the day. So his case is just like the case of Nnamdi Kanu, that nobody could even press enough evidence to convict him, yet they are holding on to him. That's where I see Emefiele's case.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dele, for your thoughts on that. And before we go, Mr. Nosike, I would like you to react to the latest development as far as Emefiele is concerned.
Well, for me, I feel that pressures have started being mounted from different quarters. You know, Buhari was in Abuja for about 4 days now. Understand me? So I feel that some people have are now being pacified, because, as Mr. Fanimo said, Emefiele is a political prisoner. Understand? Everybody knew what happened. The CBN is not a one-man business. And according to the CBN Act, the CBN governor, the direct supervisor is the presidency, not the Minister of Finance. And there's nothing that CBN can do without the permission of the presidency. So everything that Emefiele did was approved by Buhari. Understand me? Everything that he did, whether bad or good, was approved by Buhari. And mind you, the Buhari family was using him, understand, for money laundering and other stuff.
That has not been proven in court yet.
That was why it was one of them that gave him that go ahead, go and contest for presidency.
These are just
Understand me? So Buhari said that he didn't know that Buhari, that there was an allegation, but that he couldn't substantiate it. That's why he didn't sack him. Why we saw heaps of cars with Emefiele 2023. Understand me? And he said that he is not aware. Because one of his cousins, that Tunde Yusuf, who actually ordered for the printing of the new Naira note, was giving him that confidence. Go ahead, you are going to succeed the president. Understand me? So I feel that maybe some discussions have started going around. And if you take today, EFCC amended some of its edition.
But don't you think that Emefiele is an intelligent man to have understood if that was actually the case? Because most of this discussion are somehow, yes, not until proven yet. So if Emefiele would have been in a situation where he would have been told that he was going to succeed Buhari, was he not intelligent to know that that is definitely not possible?
My brother, if you are on that seat, you take orders.
Definitely.
You take orders.
All right, thank you very much. Because of time, we can't go on and on to continue to dwell on very interesting matters arising on Political Roundup this evening. I want to say big thanks to Mr. Dele Fanimo for joining us on the show this evening. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me, and I really enjoyed myself this night.
All right, have a good night rest.
So some other time, yeah.
All right, have a good night rest. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Peter Anosike, for being a part of Political Roundup this evening.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
All right. That's the size of our package on Political Roundup today. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at VOPTV Live. Good evening and have a great evening.